She was cunning, she was sexy, she was ruthless, she was feminine, and she was imperious. Of all the kings and queens of England, she was Elizabeth I, one of the most successful women in the world, though mysteries of her still remain. Books are written of her, movies are played of her. She is known by history of never becoming married. What was it that made Queen Elizabeth I one of the most successful successors in the world? Was it that she used her virginity as the key to her power?
Elizabeth, a sibling of 3, born to Anne Boleyn and King Henry VIII, was illegitimate, therefore having no right to succession.
Living a childhood with her siblings, residing at the Hatfield House in London, Elizabeth grew independent at an early age. She studied becoming fluent in 5 different languages. Her studies were history and literature, with a hobby of crossbow shooting. She was considered a genius with rhetorical ingenuity.
Of her siblings, there was Mary, the eldest, a half-sister, and a half-brother, Edward.
June 26, 1544, Henry sent for his 3 children to a grand banquet where he would announce the order of succession. First to the throne, Edward. Next would be Mary, and then Elizabeth. With her 2 siblings ahead of her, she would inherit the life of nothing more than a title of princess. At the age of 12, Elizabeth not only wanted to be an imitator of her father's virtues, although an inheritor of them.
January 1547, Elizabeth's father, King Henry, died leaving the throne to his son, 9 years of age, although Edward passed a short time later to tuberculosis in 1553. This led the eldest of the siblings, Mary, to reign on the throne. She became known as Bloody Mary, the most evil woman in history, although the bitter, fanatical, and obsessive Mary died in November 1558. Now what once seemed unimaginable became a reality. Elizabeth, who was Protestant and illegitimate and in exile, succeeded to the throne. Elizabeth was quick to assume the reins of power.
Without respect to my private will, you will give me that counsel that you think best.
Elizabeth commanded to her new head of council, Lord William Cecil.
Queen Elizabeth came to the throne to cement her father's legacy and to make England a Protestant nation. Declaring herself head of the church, presiding over an institution of Anglicanism, Elizabeth never married and was quoted by Robert Cecil. Elizabeth is more than a man, and in truth, nothing less than a woman.
Elizabeth would never bear children due to a condition of an impenetrable membrane, which kept her from having sexual relations. Though being titled the Virgin Queen, Elizabeth had fallen in love. With her secret affairs to Robert Dudley, Duke of Anjou, Sir Walter Raleigh, and others, she continued keeping her personal power by not losing her virginity. With the power of maintaining her virginity, Queen Elizabeth became adored by her people. She was a heroine. Although, not only to her popularity, titled the Virgin Queen, was Elizabeth in the midst of the Spanish Armada Wars. The Spanish Armada, led by Duke of Parma, sailed to invade the land from the southeast coast of England to the Netherlands. On July 29th, the combination of miscalculation and the attack of the English fire ships dispersed the Spanish to the northeast. That defeated them, and it barely got back to Spain. Unaware of the Spanish Armada's defeat, the English waited along the shore to defend their country under the command of Earl of Leicester. He invited Elizabeth to inspect the troops. That was when Queen Elizabeth gave her famous speech.
My loving people, we have been persuaded by some that are careful of our safety to take heed how we commit ourselves to armed multitudes for fear of treachery. But I assure you, I do not desire to live to distrust my faithful and loving people. Let tyrants fear. I have always so behaved myself that under God I have placed my chiefest strength and safeguard in the loyal hearts and goodwill of my subjects. And therefore I am come amongst you, as you see, at this time not for my recreation and despot, but being resolved in the midst and heat of the battle to live and die amongst you all, to lay down for my God and for my kingdom and my people my honor and my blood, even in the dust. I know I have the body but of a weak and feeble woman, but I have the heart and stomach of a king, and a king of England too. And think foul scorn that Panama of Spain or any prince of Europe should dare to invade the borders of my realm, to which rather than any dishonor shall grow by me, I myself will take up arms. I myself will be your general, judge, and rewarder of every one of your virtues in the field. I know already for your forwardness you have deserved rewards and crowns, and we do assure you in the word of a prince they shall be duly paid you. In the meantime, my lieutenant general shall be in my stead, than whom no prince commanded a more noble or worthy subject, not doubting but your obedience to my general. By your concord in the camp and your valor in the field, we shall shortly have a famous victory over those enemies of my God, of my kingdom, and of my people.